Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video today. My name is Garrett McLaughlin and I'm here with Dr. Deming. We're actually at True to Form in Schoolcraft. We were just talking a second ago about how to create this spring mechanism from the foot in the lower leg. So with Dr. Deming's expertise here, running analysis, podiatry, really combining those areas together, wanted to let him dig into why that matters as it relates to walking, running, and propulsion, like shock absorption and propulsion of the lower body, and also provide some simple drills that you can perform at home to improve that.
Yeah, right. So when we're working with runners, one of the things we love to talk about is springs. Okay, our bodies have springs. We want to utilize the bounce in our step when we run. One of the most common problems, as many runners know, is heel striking. So if we're landing on our heels, we're actually deactivating that natural spring mechanism in our foot and in our ankle that is going to make our running stride less efficient. So one of the first things that I start with my clients is the simple running drill called baby step jog. So I'll kind of demo that. And first I just tell people to start running in place. So if you just start running in place, one thing you'll notice is I'm not landing on my heels. It's pretty much impossible to run in place and land on your heels. So that gives you the feel of not landing on your heels. Number two, though, is that in order to utilize the spring mechanism, they call it the stretch shortening reflex. It's like a stretch and a bounce that you can get from your muscles and your soft tissue and joints, is that you have to load that spring. So the common problem that I see when people start doing this is they'll stay up here on their tiptoes. Okay, so we really need to be careful about not developing that tiptoe pattern. Your heel needs to get down and kind of bounce into the floor. Then you know you're loading and stretching your Achilles, your calf, your arch, and you're getting that rebound in that stretch. So I use a metronome as well to set that to 180 beats per minute. So we're using the recommended cadence that you want to try and train for, and get your feet bouncing up off the ground a little bit faster. But this is all it is, and then you can start moving them forward very slowly. But the reason we go so slow or in place is because posture is important as well, right? So we need to stay tall, engage our core. If you're leaning, you're going to go too fast. You know, if your posture's not right, you just kind of go where your momentum takes you. So I have them start in place and then go tiny, tiny, tiny steps for 60 seconds at a time. And, you know, if you repeat that a few times a day, 5 days a week, for about 3 to 4 weeks, most of the time you'll have enough steps and repetitions in where your body then kind of learns that new habit, and that becomes a normal gait pattern for you.
And one thing I kept thinking about as he mentioned that was the pogo stick, right? We think about it as kids. I don't see it as much now with kids compared to years ago, like how we grew up. But that pogo stick, which as you land into the pogo stick, is a quick little, we're absorbing force, and then it's creating that spring to come back up off the ground. So that kind of relates to one drill that I like to incorporate that I think supplements this very well, which is called pogo jumps or ankle hops. So very similar in terms of the focus here, but it's on 2 legs as opposed to 1 leg. So rather than being up and only, again, so stiff into the ankles, still allowing that degree of shock absorption and then propulsion as you push off. That can also be a very good drill, and bearing good weight through the ball of the foot, absorbing force, and then quickly propelling the body back up into the air. I think a somewhat different but very similar focus drill that could be a good supplement to the baby steps as well.
Yeah, definitely. That, and there's a lot of other ways you can work on getting your foot to bounce quickly up off the ground. The main key is that I always want to tell people to remember is try and push that heel down into the ground. Don't develop a tiptoe pattern. You can develop pain in your calf and your Achilles. I've been there as I was first starting out with this process myself many years ago. I realized what was going on and fixed it, but it can become a bad habit forming too if you're not doing it carefully, and that's where, you know, we work with our runners to really make sure you're getting this down right, and then you go to the next step, and then you go to the next step. It just becomes a natural flow then, so it changes how you feel when you're out there running. The most common comment I get once they get the hang of this is that somebody will go out and run 6 or 7 miles and say they only felt like they ran 3 or 4. they feel fresher, their legs don't feel as wasted afterwards, because you're taking advantage of that natural free energy and your running is just more efficient. But it does take a while to translate this over into running out there, when you're training.
Yeah, guys, so that's it. A little information there on the foot and lower leg, how to create and utilize that spring mechanism. But hope you found value in the video today, and please reach out if you have any questions or feedback.